Today we will be teaching you about cosines. The cosine function is fx equals cosine x. When you graph the cosine function fx equals cosine x, this is what you end up with. It is a continuous wave that runs on the x-axis.
The domain of a function is always the leftmost point and the point farthest to the right. The domain is the start and end points of the graph. To find this, simply take the x values of both ordered pairs. Since both lines don't have a definite endpoint, we wrote the domain in parentheses. It is parentheses negative infinity, comma, infinity, parentheses. Range, on the other hand, is the expression of the highest and lowest points on the graph. Just take the y value of the lowest and highest ordered pair. In this case, both have definite endpoints, so we put them in brackets. It is bracket -1, comma 1, bracket.
The y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis and x will always equal 0. For functions cosine x, the y-intercept is 0, 1. For cosines, x-intercepts are a little bit more complicated. They are written in degree form but still in order pair. The wavelength you see on the graph comes together to create a circle. Each circle forms a period of 360 degrees, after which it starts over at 0 degrees. The line crosses the x-axis at 90 degrees 0 and 270 degrees 0. Starting at 90 degrees, you should have 1 every 180 degrees.
When finding the amplitude of a cosine, you should look at the function f of x equals a cosine parentheses bx minus c parentheses plus d. And f of x equals cosine of x, there are none of these values, but in examples such as f of x equals 2 cosine parentheses 3x minus 4 parentheses plus 5, a equals 2, b equals 3, c equals 4, and d equals 5. Amplitude is the height of the function, which is the number in front of the cosine, a. The equation for finding this is the absolute value of a. In the case of f of x equals cosine x, since a is 1, the amplitude would simply be 1. A period is how long it takes for the function to complete one full cycle. A cycle is marked by when the y values are the same. So when it starts at y equals 1, it ends at y equals 1 in this example. This period lasts 360 degrees.
Our first transformation example was to turn function cosine x into function negative cosine x. When you graph this, you will see the first one is transformed by being reflected about the x-axis. Our second example was to turn function cosine x into function 3 cosine x plus 1. This results in a vertical stretch by 3 and moved up by 1 unit. We know the first one was a reflection because it was flipped over the x-axis. We know the second one was the vertical stretch by 3 because it is in front of the cosine and up by 1 because it says plus 1.
The shape that is found in the real world that matches our graph is a snake. And a way that this function is used in real life is by people who have jobs in the field of engineering.
What do you call a snake that studies past events? A historian. Ha!
Here's a recap of what you have learned. Remember that there are 360 degrees in a circle. The parent function of f of x equals cosine of x. Our example function was f of x equals a cosine parentheses bx minus c plus d. The a is always the amplitude value. The b is the coefficient used to find period. The c is the phase shift, and d is the vertical shift. Amplitude is the height of the function. Period is how long it takes for the function to complete a cycle. The phase shift is determined by the period to the right or the left, and the vertical shift is a positive change up and negative change down. This has been a lesson about cosines by Alexis McDonald, Luna Wang, Mackenzie Martin, and Preston Meredith.